going to show you how to make a strip collage, which is an image made from a couple of photographs that I've taken of architecture. The photos I've used are very close-up kind of details of architecture. You will have been to London and you'll have a selection of images to work from. It doesn't have to be close-ups. You can try any of your photographs and just experiment and see what looks best. Okay, so I'll just close this one down. And we will open a new file. That's the first thing we need to do to create a kind of the blank sheet for you to actually make your collage onto. So you need to make sure that the size of your image is 15 centimetres wide. Just check the drop down that you are actually on centimetres, and 10 centimetres high, and then with a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. Okay, and then you'll see that you've got a landscape style document. So you've got your piece of paper, if you like, or your file to build your collage onto. Next thing is to open two of your images. Now you should already have edited these images in RAW mode and then save them as JPEGs before you actually start doing this process. Okay, so I'll just open my two images up. Okay, so the first thing to do is to check your sizing. Make sure that your images are the same size as your document, which we've just set to 15 by 10, 300 resolution. So we need to do the same here. But to do this, what we do is we use the crop tool. Okay, and so you click on the crop tool here and then just check that you have size and resolution selected there. Make sure that your width is 15 centimetres, 10 centimetres high, 300 resolution, and then OK. You can actually crop the image and it will keep all those dimensions if you need to do that. Once you've decided on your crop, click the tick and do the same thing with your second image. Okay. Now this time with this second image, what we need to do first of all is we need to turn this into a landscape image, because we want all three. We want the original new file and both of the images to be the same kind of same way round. This is currently portrait, so to change that we just go image rotation 90 degrees clockwise. Okay, and now we can check the sizing. So onto the crop tool again, check that we have size and resolution selected there, and that we are 15 centimetres wide, 10 centimetres high, 300 resolution. OK, and then tick. So we're all set to go. Now these two images look quite small, so we need to go view, fit on screen, so that we can see them at maximum size, which will be a lot easier for us to actually work with. Also do that with the blank sheet as well. View, fit on screen. Okay. Right, so to begin our collage, what we will do is we'll use the marquee tool on one of our images to select a strip. So the marquee tool is the second tool down. Check that you've got the rectangular marquee tool selected, not the elliptical marquee tool. Okay. And now just select a section that you like by clicking and dragging to create your line. You can then click inside the middle of this selection and move that to wherever you want to on your image to select the area that you like. Once you're then ready to cut this out from your image and move it, you go to the move tool at the top here, and then it's a case of clicking inside, dragging, holding over your untitled document, and then placing and releasing once you're ready, and there's your image. Okay, that can obviously be moved around on here any way you like. So now let's go to the second image and take a section out of this one. So again we need the marquee tool, click and drag to select, go to the move tool, click inside, drag, hold over your untitled document, release. Okay, and you can see that you've now started to build up your collage. Let's go back to the first image now and then maybe take a section, a vertical section instead. Again, check you're on the marquee tool. Maybe make the strip a little bit thinner this time. Move tool again, click and drag. There we go. Okay, so you can see you're building up your image. Now if you just look to the right of the screen, you've got 3 layers. So you've got your background, which is the paper or the document that you initially created. Then you've got your first layer with your first thing that you cut out from your first image, your second layer and your third layer. So if at any point you want to move any of these, you just need to make sure you're on the correct layer here, that you've highlighted the layer. We're on layer 2 at the moment, and then that's the one that you will be able to move around. Okay. Now what you can do is you can change these individual parts of the collage. So if we take this one now that we're on layer 2, we can go image, adjust, and we can go to invert, and hopefully you can see that that's reversed the tones of that actual part of the collage, which can give quite a nice kind of varied effect. Let's try and do something on this layer now. So we go to layer 3, we can go image, adjust, we can change maybe the turn it to black and white, for example. Okay, so we've now got this part of the image in black and white, and maybe go to this layer now, layer 1, and change, adjust maybe the exposure, make it a little bit lighter, and you can see that the collage is starting to kind of gain a bit more character now. So let's just build it up a little bit more. Take another section. So if we have maybe this bottom section here with the blue, and a bit of that. Okay. Move that onto your collage. And hopefully you can see now that what's happened here is because I was actually clicked on layer 4 and I've just put this layer here, it's actually kind of gone underneath this layer. Now if you're not happy with that, you can click into the layers palette here and drag so that it actually goes above this layer here, and you can fiddle around with that. You can try different kind of layers, different organisation of your layers. It's like almost that you've laid out these strips in pieces of paper onto a blank sheet, and you're able to kind of move them around and play around with it. The other thing that is kind of worth thinking about doing as well, if we go back to this new layer here, is using some diagonals or kind of different angles. At the moment we've just got lots of right angles going on here. So to do that we go edit, transform, or actually let's see, yeah, edit free transform, okay, and then you'll see this little box comes up around the selection, and if you hover over the corners you'll see a curved arrow. You click and move, turn, then you'll see it's rotating, and then you can move this around to a different position in your collage as well. Once you're happy with that, click the tick, and again you can move that anywhere you like after you've actually transformed the selection as well. So there's lots of different things you can do within this quite simple structure of the strip collage. Let's try adding another piece now. So let's try maybe a strip from here, this nice green kind of frame. Okay, I'm going to place this on top here. But you can see what's happened, it's actually gone underneath because we were selected on a lower layer. So let's click and drag that to the top, and there it appears. Okay. What I want to show you now is that you can actually kind of make this slightly transparent so that you can see things coming through from underneath. So make sure you're on the layer you want to be on, and then the little opacity box here, click the drop down, slide, and you can hopefully see that that layer is becoming slightly transparent, showing things underneath, which can give quite a nice effect. So maybe let's try that on this one as well here, on this big thicker layer here. See if we can bring through some of the areas of the image underneath here. Okay, so this can obviously take quite a long time to build up. If you are pushed for time and you think, okay, I want to kind of, you know, fill in this background fairly quickly, what you can do is click on the background layer, go to your image, one of your images, and select the whole thing with your marquee tool. Select the whole of that image and the move tool. Click and drag and place the whole image to fill the background, which can be quite a quick way of completing the collage. And then also sometimes it's quite nice to not have that blank white sheet behind there. Now that at the moment is a little bit kind of crowded and full, so what you can do is to make that background layer a little bit less kind of obvious, maybe go image adjust and possibly reduce the exposure of it a little bit so it's a little bit lighter, so that it doesn't compete quite as much, or maybe darken it a little bit as well, so that the other layers can be seen on the top of there. Okay, so obviously you can spend a lot longer on this, building this up, but we'll just finish off now with a little bit of extra kind of collage on top. So let's maybe select another thin strip here. Sometimes quite nice to have some kind of thinner sections on your collage to vary it a little bit. Okay, and then again that's kind of underneath all the layers here, so let's bring it forward, and you might want to just have a little bit of the edge of that selection kind of showing, so that not everything has to go right to the edges of the page. Okay, so once you're happy with your collage, you've spent quite a long time kind of adjusting it, you then need to kind of flatten all these layers, otherwise when you save the image it's going to be a very big file and that will be really difficult to upload to Tumblr. So we need to go layer, flatten image, and you can see all the layers have disappeared. Now we've got this little white strip here and some little white strips a little bit around the edge. So what we can do is we can now crop the whole thing just to get rid of those. Now to do this, it is probably better for us to get rid of the set sizing there, and then we're actually able to just make kind of more subtle adjustments. Okay. Bring that in slightly. And then click the tick when we're happy, and then File, Save As. We're going to save it as a JPEG, and we're going to give it a different name so that you know this is the one you've worked on. So strip collage JPEG. Okay. And then save, and when we click save on here, I'm going to replace. It's going to ask me what size JPEG I want it to be. Now the best thing is to save as a medium JPEG on 5 resolution, because that will, 5 quality, because that will be a lot easier for uploading to Tumblr. Okay, and that's the end of the strip collage tutorial.